Before we get started though, now that the servers are up, I'll try to be pretty quick, but I'm just going to scroll through the patch notes real fast. I love patch notes, man. It's like, I don't know, it's like I'm opening presents or something. I don't know what it is, but when patch notes come out for a game that I'm really excited about at the time, I love reading them. I read every line, every word, every letter, not only because I enjoy it, but to make sure that I have fully captured anything that you may have missed or didn't realize from the test server or previous patch notes when they were in a rough form, anything like that. Want to be fully informed. So I'm going to go through them real fast. I already have, like I said, this morning as soon as I saw them, but I'll go over them again here. As you can see on top, the new pistols are in, the Commissioner and the Underboss. Their description is kind of similar to what I said last night, where the Commissioner may be the one that's going to be better at getting that one-shot kill when somebody's already injured, and maybe the one that's better at range. The Underboss may be better up close, or when the same number of shots are required to kill, because it will be faster. It will have the faster reload and all of that. Something that I didn't expect, though, those black and gold editions of them are going to be in the game, available to members in the early access section of the depot at first. So that's weird. Not weird as much as it's like so many of the same pistols. There's like, what, 6 variants now, and they're probably all going to be, 1,000 certs or whatever each. I'll have to log in and check that out, but that is kind of interesting. New helmets for the heavy assault and the max. By the names, it seems like it's probably similar to the ones that we saw for infill and whatnot in the past. Check those out. The new weapon stats, as much as I love and will probably still use Jan's spreadsheet that many of you probably do or don't use, I don't know. It's really, really solid. They did add a lot of that into the game, so on the fly it's quicker to just check up the stats now. Camo previews, that's great. Before buying those, you always kind of wanted to see how they worked. Now this line, active heavy assault shields and flak armor will no longer stack. That's one of those, whoa, like I didn't expect that. I didn't notice that because I almost never play heavy when I was on the test server. It may not be a huge change, but I'm not a fan of the heavy shield. I think it's pretty overpowered in most situations, so I'm all for anything like that. The jump jet audio has been increased. Yeah, we knew about that. It's maybe a slight nerf for light assault when you're playing against perceptive players that listen to their audio cues, but why not? It's alright, I accept it. The grenades being thrown, I got pretty used to the arc, even though the grenades kind of have a big hitbox in this game. So that's interesting. We'll have to see about that, how that plays out. If it, probably just something to get used to, but maybe more accurate in the long run. Really some really basic changes here for the next few lines. Simple stuff. Nothing you're going to notice too much. The VS damage scaling removed at larger ranges, so the minimum damage matches the other factions. That's probably seems like it's a bigger buff than I think it really will be, but nonetheless it is a buff for the VS, and I mean that's fine. I accept that. I don't think it's going to be game changing. That's cool. And then there's a lot of the scout rifle and battle rifle changes and max changes. They didn't add any new max abilities or max weapons or anything like that in this patch. That got pushed back a little bit, but they did do the balancing of the current AV and some of the other AI for non-NC AI maxes. So you can kind of just take a look at that. I'm not going to go ahead and read every line here, but it's mostly pretty minor changes to try to get a more balanced desired result out of each of the weapons, like the Pounder, the Mercy, the Onslaught, and then for some reason they go and start up with VS Maxes later in the notes. But anyway, that's pretty minor changes in rounds per minute, and reload time, and damages, and gravity, and stuff like that. You can read through it, check it out, try it out for yourself, see if you notice a big difference. I think it's going to be pretty minor, but nonetheless probably balances for the better that were needed in most of those cases, so why not. Here's the same kind of thing for the battle rifles and the scout rifles. And right above that you see the Beamer and the Manticore changes. I mean, I thought the Beamer was kind of weak, but then again I thought most pistols were kind of weak except for the repeater, so I'm totally cool with that. That's, again, minor changes to VS pistols. Here's the battle rifle and scout rifle changes. I'm not going to read through all of them. but I do recommend either reading them on here or reading them for yourself if you are interested in them. They very well may make them much more viable. Most of these are small adjustments. Whoops. Most of them are small adjustments, but there are a few in there that are pretty significant if you look at the difference in numbers, and may make them function a lot more effectively at their desired role. Here we are at the rest of the max changes. The NC AV max, the VS AV and AI max is one of the other TR AI maxes. Really same deal there. Nothing too much, minor adjustments to kind of make them better fill what role they're supposed to. Last year, new model, new firing and reload. If you watched Higbee's little sneak peek, you may have seen that briefly when he showed the harasser and the pistols on the test. But check that out if you like the last year. Why not, right? And then the MCG got some changes as well, a little bit more significant. There's no fire delay, which is interesting for people who want to use that, but it still has a ramp up that will function a little bit differently. The reloads have made longer. That makes kind of makes sense. Reduce the hip accuracy, kind of makes sense going along with that spool up change. Now the aimed accuracy is interesting. From being 0.3, etc., and 0.9 crouch and stand, it went to 0.2 and 0.35. So that 0.9 to 0.35 while standing and moving is a pretty huge difference. It's not just one of those small adjustments that I've been talking about. So if you use the MCG, check that out. Tell me how you think it feels in comparison, because there is a bit more changes gone into that than something like the Lasher, for instance, or some of these other weapons that got minor adjustments. Then you're looking at bug fixes. Most of these are pretty non-consequential. Fixes some things with people's scopes being able to be equipped or flickering, reload issues. Here they don't want you abusing friendly fire for healing to grant EXP. Mostly things like that aren't really a big issue with their graphical or animation related or something like that. Slight tweak to the mag rider to make it a little bit less frustrating in certain situations. I don't think that there's any really big buff in there. This thing is interesting. Damage received when a vehicle flips. I don't know how many times I've flipped like an ATV or whatever and just instantly exploded, and about half the time I usually see it and can get out fast enough, but that definitely makes sense to have that in there because that could be frustrating. Here's the big UI updates. If you were on the test or saw me play on the test at all, or anybody for that matter, they're pretty significant. Obviously we don't have the battle flow improvements, we don't have the lattice yet, but there's all sorts of new timers and the legend, and instead of influence we've got percentages and time to cap bases, things like that. A whole slew of changes in how the map appears. I couldn't really get used to certain things like activity level coloring and a gradient of red instead of spectrum. I kind of liked the green to red, the yellow, the orange, things like that, rather than just different tints of red, but whatever, I'll get used to it. But you'll definitely notice a lot of things like that, most for the better and for things easier to view and see what's going on. More extra service ribbons, why not? Passive EXP, some more improved previews. The loadout screen improvements are pretty nice, pretty convenient. You can resupply your current whatever you have using resources directly from that screen rather than having to dig down a bunch of screens. You can unlock things more easily from there. The quick camo selector is really nice if you actually want to use snow camo and ItZMuRdA, jungle camo and Amrish, whatever. You can just grab a camo and it adds it to all of your loadouts for that time, and then you can do another one when you switch continents or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Again, just a lot of more convenience, quality of life improvements, making you have to navigate through less screens to get really what you want. The better weapon stats again, and here's kind of what they are. A new HUD indicator for ammo packs. I'm not sure exactly if I've seen that on the test, but I'll have to see what it is. I know they could kind of be a little bit deceiving. You'd have to see them on your map, and then you'd have the icon was kind of big on the map compared to where they were actually on the ground or whatever. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. being able to filter out bundles, that's good. I wasn't aware of this. If you got like you finished an alert and it skipped battle rank 5 for you or something like that, but that's a pretty useful bug fix, because that would be pretty frustrating if that happened to somebody. And then down in here, this doesn't really matter, but why not? This stuff bothers me a little bit, just because, I mean, not that those are substantial EXP rewards regardless. At 100 or 250 or 500, they're still pretty minimal. But I don't like incentivizing destroying SCUs, especially. Generators are one thing, but I really feel like SCUs should not only not even be in the game right now, but certainly not be as easy to destroy and just ruin the tide of battle and just completely make it a standstill where the defenders are just sitting in their spawn shields trying to pick off a guy that runs out, where, you know, they have the one-way shields and they can shoot them but they can't shoot back, and the guys on offense are just sitting around, you know, really doing nothing. Almost nobody runs out of the spawn at that point. So it just becomes a really stale thing, especially if you destroy an SCU really early in a base capture and you're sitting there for 5 minutes. It's just, I think it's really poor gameplay mechanic and enjoyment with the current system. It could work in a different system, but I think the current way that things work, I really would just prefer to not even see SCUs. Some battles may go on longer, but I don't think it would really change the outcome. That's just me. I always find it incredibly boring, and somebody will always destroy the SCU, even when they don't have to. Even when you completely outpop them, you know, 10 to 1, they're still going to take it down and just make you sit there and be bored if you want to wait for the cap. So, I don't know. That's a personal gripe. I don't really care for the SCUs, and I think incentivizing them may only make more people want to blow them up. I don't know. Maybe not. Still not me. I haven't ever destroyed an SCU, and I don't plan on doing it after this patch either. So, nonetheless, let's get into some game, and you guys, let me know what you liked about the patch. Let me know what you didn't like. Let me know what you saw and were really happy about. Let me know what you didn't see and were hoping to see. I'll probably port this over. This is, you know, just kind of a general commentary on Twitch right now before I get into the game, but I'll probably port it over just kind of as a patch notes overlook, something I really like to do and recommend doing on your own. When you see those patch notes, if you're out at work, you're out wherever, you get your mobile device, check out those patch notes, read them up, eat them up. It's good stuff. So keep yourself informed, and I will see you guys soon. If you're around right now and I happen to be streaming, which I'll be on most of the day today, Thursday, happen to be off, and then again Friday evening and on the weekend. So I will see you guys around. Check out the stream, ItZMuRdA.com or twitch.tv/ItZMuRdA_TV, and I will see you guys soon.